From the newsroom of Presque Isle Newspapers at the corner of 3rd and Erie in Rogers City, this is Peter Jakey with a preview of the headlines from this week's edition of the Presque Isle County Advance. On the front page, with the county's Public Health and Safety Committee clarifying a final issue regarding Wolverine Power Cooperative's proposed Type 3 landfill to be constructed in the Carmoose Lime and Stone Quarry, the board gave its unanimous approval to a resolution that the landfill meets all the standards of the Solid Waste Management Plan. The resolution will be forwarded to the Department of Environmental Quality, which will make the final determination if Wolverine is granted a permit to construct the landfill near the proposed power plant. More details in this week's edition of the Advance. So, what is next for Wolverine? News about the Wolverine Clean Energy Venture came at a furious pace last week, and more news is likely on the way. Federal funding received a permit granted for harbor expansion at Port of Calcite. Wolverine's response to a state agency, supporters rally on Lansing, city council talks of how to house workers, and county commissioners ponder landfill all made news last week. While those topics were considered, the biggest issue still lies in the hands of the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality, which will render a decision on the air quality permit. Wolverine officials have stressed this is the single biggest permit among a pile of permits needed to get construction going on the plant. According to DEQ spokespeople, a decision on the permit is expected before the end of this year. Wolverine applied for the permit in September of 2007. Officials of Rogers City area schools plan to spend the next couple of weeks assembling lists of potential budget cuts and seeking input about how to balance the district's finances in the face of substantial cuts in state funding. The district needs to cut an estimated $95,000 this school year. During Monday's Board of Education meeting, Superintendent Jamie Huber reported on a $165 per student cut from their foundation grant agreed upon by lawmakers in Lansing last week. Bottom line, he said, for our district, that means a $95,000 reduction for this current fiscal year, which we are a quarter of the way through the fiscal budget, said Huber. It is definitely a tough thing we are going to have to tackle and deal with, he said. More details on these and other local news stories are in this week's edition of The Advance. In sports, The Advance has photos and details from Rogers City and Posen, including the Huron football team's 50-24 win in Ottaway. Jesse Wilbert rushed for 105 yards and Dave Lewandowski ran for 104, while Pat Quain passed for 3 touchdowns. Posen football team notched its first win of the season in a game downstate. We also have results of Rogers City cross country and volleyball and Posen volleyball, in addition packed with local news and sports. The Presque Isle County Advance is on Erie newsstand this afternoon with all these stories and much more. For subscription information, call The Advance at 734-2105, and also check us out online at piadvance.com. This is Peter Jakey, Managing Editor of Presque Isle Newspapers, reporting.